All right, Shalom. I'm thankful and I'm grateful to be able to come out here once again to preach and to prophesy unto my people, being you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And according to the Holy Bible, you are the biblical Israelites. This is based off of your father's genetic line that determines whether or not you are of Jacob. It's about paternal and agnate relations. This is not a so-called black or white thing. And seeing that when you mingle those two shades together, you get gray. There are no gray areas in this truth. And I also come out here to preach and to prophesy unto you other nations to let you know your judgment and your future, and also seeing our people are mingled amongst the other nations also. Jacob has many faces. That's what you rebellious people have to understand. But before I get started, as always, I have to give all thanks and praises unto our power, the power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. And what's his name? Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women's sons and daughters also. And the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. So as we come out here and we're hitting these devils with this truth, they are definitely in the background getting offended, plotting on ways to take down Jerusalem. But it's all right because that's a part of the story. But at the end of the day, we are in a season where this society as we know it is going to be done away with forever, and it will never be exalted ever again. So let's start this off in the book of Mark, chapter 16, and verse 15. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. So we come out here in the open. And first and foremost, we're prophesying unto our people, being you Israelites. And then on top of that, we're also prophesying unto you other nations, because there's a message for you as well. It tells you in Jeremiah, which I'll grab that right quick and I'll come back to this. Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 4. Then the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So we are a prophet unto the nation. We're a prophet unto everybody. All right? But that primary creature that we're prophesying to are you Israelites. Mark 16 and 15. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. So if you don't believe in this gospel, well, it's evident why you don't believe in the names. It's evident why you worship the so-called white man. Matthew 24 and 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. And that's what we're doing. We're preaching this gospel into all the world. So wherever we are, whatever state or city we're located, we also have the internet to further push this light throughout this earth, which is full of darkness. And this kingdom and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. So seeing that we're out here prophesying unto every creature, starting with you Israelites, and also the rest of you nations, the birds can hear me, insects can hear me. I'm out here in the open. Because if you light a candle, you don't light a candle to put it under your bed or to put it in a closet or somewhere where you can't see it shine. What would be the purpose of that? Okay? That's like leaving the lights on in your house, but you're not even at home. You're just wasting electricity. So what would be the purpose of leaving every single light on in your house if it's not useful? What's the point of having this truth if you're not broadcasting it? So we're broadcasting this ministry in the eyes of everybody, including, various creatures, squirrels, birds. A fox can see me out here doing this work, okay? A raccoon. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. And right now we're at the time of the end. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning. And the end has been declared from the beginning through this word. And seeing that this word is going out, now ultimately the end is coming. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done. Saying my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So the Lord has already declared that the end is coming. The Lord has already declared how the end is coming. And the end is coming through us preaching and prophesying this truth unto every creature. And that's what Yahushua told the 11. Because at that time, Judas had already hung himself and Matthias, who had replaced Judas, wasn't selected yet by Lot. So at that time, Yahushua, after being crucified, he had appeared unto the 12 or unto the 11 of the 12. And before he had left them, he let them know, prophesy this, bring out this word, teach every creature, feed my sheep. Okay? Bring out this gospel unto every creature, seeing that Israel's everywhere. Teach this word openly, not in a discreet location. All right? Declaring the end from the beginning. And you can find that through the words of the Lord, which are given to you by his prophets. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done. Saying my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Lord is going to do all his pleasure. And a part of his pleasure is bringing in the end. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And the end is being manifest more and more because this gospel is spreading throughout the world more and more. It's already been promised that, hey, if this word goes out throughout the whole world, then the end will come. So it's our duty to project this word, to be a light in a dark place and not be ashamed of the gospel, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get up out of here. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So seeing that we're at the end, the Lord is showing us various signs. The Lord is giving certain revelations. Why? Because we're at that time. So the Lord has it to where he's reminding us, look, man, I never left you. I've always been with you. And seeing that the Lord is with us, we shouldn't fear. Now, seeing that we're doing the right thing, that doesn't necessarily please these devils. These devils are nervous. They're shaken up and they understand that the end is coming. And we're not going to be saved off of our works, but we're going to do the work. Yahushua told Peter 3 times, if you love me, feed my sheep. So It's not an excuse not to do the work. And it's not an excuse to be jealous of a man who's doing the work, or to be jealous of a man who's bringing out scriptures. Because a lot of men are low-key jealous, and they'll see that you're, on fire, and then they'll say, well, just because you're on fire, it don't mean you're a man of the Lord, right? Because there's a low-key jealousy there. Or they'll say things like, just because you go into the scriptures a lot don't mean you're a man of the Lord. Because there's that low-key jealousy. So no, we're not saved off of our works. But at the end of the day, the ultimate man would be someone who's going to show their faith by their works. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape what? The destruction to come, by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. All right, so we are out here doing this work openly, bringing this kingdom down through the words of the Lord. So you damn right these devils is angry. Let's go to Matthew's chapter 13 and verse 9. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. So if you have the spiritual understanding to hear, then listen. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them it is not given. So this truth is not for everybody on earth. It's not given to everybody. Let's go to Mark chapter 13. In verse 1. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Yahushua answering said unto him, seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter, James, and John, and Andrew asked him privately, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? And Yahushua answering them began to say, take heed, lest any man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be not troubled. For such things must need be, but the end shall not be yet. For nation shall arise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. And there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. So now we're coming into the beginning of sorrows because all these things are happening. We're literally in World War III right now. But here's the point. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them. And the gospel must first be published among all nations. So seeing that this gospel is now going out throughout the whole earth, and the end is being made manifest, now we're coming into that season where these devils are going to try to take hold of us. And for some of us, they will take hold of us. For some of us, they will be able to kill. But all of us are not going to taste death, but we're all going to witness that season of trial if we are alive and breathing during that moment of time. And that moment of time is here. It's close. The guillotines are already here. And what do I mean the guillotines are already here? Well, in the scriptures, it talks about how those who don't worship the beast or his image are to be beheaded. You can find that in Revelations chapter 20 and verse 4. Well, there's already guillotines here in America secretly being, set on standby for that day. That day when the mark of the beast is made law, made mandatory. And seeing that this gospel is going out, they have to hurry up with their so-called New World Order. And the gospel must first be published among all nations. So seeing that this gospel is going out, it's soon to come to that point where they're going to lock this society down, bring in martial law. They're going to be hunting for men and women who have faith in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and sons and daughters. All right? So once this gospel spreads, we may be set before rulers and kings to testify against them. You know, we might go through being beaten. We might go through being waterboarded. Who knows? But at the end of the day, our story is already written for us. But over everything, we should be looking forward to being delivered, to being saved. And these things shouldn't make you nervous. It shouldn't bring sorrow to your heart, although that's naturally going to happen anyway. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So as this gospel is spreading, the time's going to come where we may be set before governors and rulers, kings, and they may have our so-called fate in their hands. We may be thrown in prison awaiting a death sentence because we don't want to take the mark of the beast. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. So some of us will be casted into concentration camps to await being put to death, similar to what John the Baptist witnessed or faced, similar to what the Apostle Paul faced. All right? Some of us may have to go through that because this word is offensive to these devils. But if you have to go out like that, if we have to go out like that, that is actually a precious thing in the sight of the Lord. People on earth may see it as awful and horrible, but in reality, we are already immortal. The spirit within us is already immortal. We just have to be given a new body. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 17. So I just read how some of us will be casted into prison and to be, remain faithful unto death. All right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and 17. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. So there's going to come a time where these devils are going to take hold of some of us. They've been seeing our videos. They've been plotting on us the whole time. They got our pictures in the background. They might even have our pictures on a wall and they're throwing darts at our pictures. All right? Like they're mug shots. Just awaiting the day to get their hands upon us. Well, there may come that moment where they get their hands upon some of us. And now they want to try us and see if the Lord is going to come through for us. And seeing that some of us have to be martyred for this, they'll see that as, we'll see the Lord's not with you. Because if the Lord was with you, why would he let me kill you? That's going to be the mentality of these dumb-ass elite. Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the power, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them. So they seek to beat and kill us. But if we have to go through that, as the scripture says, remain faithful until death. All right? Because the Lord is going to crown those who endure until the end. And I'm not bringing up these things to put doubt into people's hearts. I say these things so that you may know the truth, and this truth may set you free. so that you can ponder on things and you can be mentally ready for it when it actually approaches you. Okay? Let's go to 1 Chronicles. First Chronicles chapter 16 and 21. He suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, touch mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. So when the day comes that some of you kings may get a hold of some of us, you've already been warned. You may be able to take down some of us, or what it seems to take down some of us. But at the end of the day, you're going to be condemned for that. Once you do, you may laugh and say, look at you. You look ridiculous. You look pathetic. Where's your God? Well, I'm telling you in advance, when that day comes, just know we are going to be raised up to be immortal regardless. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. And you are going into slavery regardless. And the same message is you can't stop it. Okay? He suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sakes. So seeing that we're going to be, faced with governors and kings to be a testimony against them, all right, the Lord is actually going to destroy them just for them even thinking about putting their hands on us, let alone the day that they actually do it. Saying, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. But you know what? Because of the pride of these elite, they're going to do the prophets harm anyway if they can get their hands on some of us. Because that's just a part of the story. And that's ultimately more condemnation against them. So let's go to Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8. This is why the Lord said, do his prophets no harm. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. So if you come against the Lord's people, that's already bad enough. But it's a whole different ball game when you touch the Lord's servants. That's like poking somebody's pupil. That's a very sensitive area in your eye. If someone was to take their finger and prick you in the eye, what's it going to do? It's going to cause you to tear up. And that's exactly what the Lord has done for his people. He has cried over his people, seeing the things that we've gone through, but it had to be fulfilled. And also seeing that the eye is a very sensitive area. If someone pokes you in the eye, you may be willing to want to go to war because it's so sensitive. Well, seeing that these devils are going to try to touch some of the prophets, that's like poking the Lord in his pupil. And that's not a smart move to do. All right? Zechariah chapter 2 and 8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. So when you devils do come down upon us, you've already been warned that it's not a good move. But because of your pride, some of you are going to do it anyway. You're going to tempt the Lord, and it's going to be very, very bad for you when you meet your end. And it will be soon after that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So there's going to be a great uprising against those who serve the Lord. Ultimately, not even just those of us who believe. There's going to be a great uprising against the Lord's people in general. The devil is going to come down upon the whole world. But in particular, you Israelites, because he has great wrath in his heart. All right? So there's going to be a great insurrection against you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But especially those who know this truth. All right? Esau already has us labeled. He already knows or has an idea of who's who So when the day comes that these military, these MRAP soldiers or whatever you want to call them are sent out here to gather people up, they know, okay, we're going to go in this house, shoot them on sight, but we're going to go in this house and just throw them in cuffs, take them to the concentration camp, and I'm sure they'll be willing to take the chip. They already know. There may be a reward if you even have any idea about where our whereabouts may be. They might show our face on the TV or on a cell phone. And all those who have the mark of the beast, they're looking at these things, being told that if you know where this person is or you've seen their whereabouts, there's a reward that will be credited to your chip. Okay, who knows, man? But we're coming into some times where we have to be mentally prepared for whatever. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So there's going to come a time where these devils are going to go haywire. It's going to be a lot of evil on this earth. And some of us are going to be hemmed up and beaten. Some of us are going to be even killed. We have to know these things. Don't let nobody tell you these things aren't to be, because it's written that some of us will go through this. Yeah, we want to be delivered. Yeah, we should look forward to being delivered. But to try to deny that these things are going to happen for some of us, that makes you satanic. That's no different. I think that's 144. I don't got my glasses. I need to get some more. But that's just like Peter being offended at Yahushua going to the cross. As much as you may get offended that some of us have to be beaten and persecuted for this truth, if that offends you to the point you want to draw back, you're satanic. If that offends you to the point where you feel like that's too much, well, that means you're trying to override the Lord's will. The Lord's will is some of us are going to go through this. It's just what it is, man. You know, like in the movies where you might see the victim running, and then when they finally get caught, they're begging and pleading for their life just to get killed anyway. What's the point of being nervous and wanting to draw back? If it's written for you, it's going to happen anyway. Whether you're a coward or whether you're brave. Your story is your story. All right? So we might as well be brave about it. 2 Ezra 16 and 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So when these days to come, when that great insurrection comes and that great uprising against the men of the Lord happens, we're going to know who the elect are, because ultimately the Lord is going to deliver them out of various situations. And then at the end of it all, they're going to be taken up into a huge chariot, what the world will call a spaceship. Okay? You can call it sci-fi, or you can call it Wi-Fi. But at the end of it all, the truth can sound weird, it can sound crazy, but it does not take away that it's the truth. Let's go to Isaiah 59 and verse 15. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So we're coming into a time where the Lord is going to remove us off the streets. Truth is going to fall. You people see us now, you want us to be removed now? Well, when all hell breaks loose, you're going to desire to hear the words of the Lord. Hell, you're going to desire to hear the voice of another person in general. But we're not going to be out here teaching. We're going to be on the move like pilgrims, because Esau on that day is going to be hunting us. And the Lord is going to have to bring a stop to that. It's not going to be some long drawn out process when they start chipping people with the mark. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Let's go to the Apocrypha. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. So whatever we got to go through, we got to face it. And when we're going through that humiliation, we have to take it patiently. To be beaten, to be chastised in the sight of men, to be looked at as a punk, as a weirdo, as a creep, in the sight of people who are evil, that's humiliating. But if we have to endure these things, endure it with patience and knowing that there's a reward. Endure it with the mind of Yahweh Shai, knowing that he had to go through that same thing. Imagine him, carrying his cross all the way to the point of being hung up on the cross, all the people that were wagging their heads at him, all the people that were just mugging him, spitting towards him, insulting him, or throwing insults at him. Okay, some of us may have to go through that. But if we have to go through that humiliation, take it patiently. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate, or other words, humiliated. Okay? Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So here it is, Esau, they see us as prey. Well, the Lord has sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. That's why I'm not out here with a pistol on my hip. I don't have swords on my hip or on my back. Okay? I'm not plotting on taking down the government through carnal means. I am a sheep in the midst of wolves. So seeing that we're in the midst of wolves, we have to walk circumspect. We have to walk wise. We have to walk with some sense of discretion. But some of that discretion is being removed because seeing that this word is going out, people around your job might know what you're doing because they're starting to acknowledge this word because it's increasing. Some of that discretion is fleeing, but nevertheless, we have to have a sense of discretion and mystery about ourselves because we are sheep in the midst of wicked people. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we have to be brute as serpents, and we have to be as harmless as a dove. A harmless dove is not a bird that's going around picking problems with other creatures. Verse 17, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, and for a testimony against them. So these days are coming, and we have to be mentally prepared for it. And understanding that although these days are coming, the Lord is going to be with us no matter what. Luke chapter 12 and verse 58. When thou goest with thine adversary to the magistrate, as thou art in the way, give diligence, that thou mayest be delivered from him, lest he held thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and the officer cast thee into prison. I tell thee, thou shalt not depart thence till thou hast paid thy very last mite. So the Lord is with us till death. If some of us have to die, Yahweh Shai is with us even until death. So although he's not on the earth right now with us physically, he's with us in spirit. That's why it was needful for him to be crucified and go back to the Heavenly Father. Now we have this truth because that seventh seal's been loosened, and we're able to come out here and have more truth now than what we did in the ancient world. Matthew 28 and 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost. That's why I say Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And then I say Bahasham, which is in the name Wa and Rakha Kodash, Spirit Holy. In the name and Spirit Holy, or what we say today, Holy Spirit. Okay? Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. So Yahweh Shai is with us even unto the end of the world. So all we have to do is keep our hope in that, cast our cares on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and he won't fail us. 1 Peter's. Yeah, that sun is beaming, man. It ain't no joke. 1 Peter's chapter 5 and verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the power, that he may exalt you in due time. So before honor is humility. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. So all we have to do is cast our cares on the Lord, because he cares about us. And not only does he care about us, he's with us forever. He's with us not only till death, even after death, we'll be joined together. So we have to keep these things in mind, that when it gets bad out here and you feel like you're being hunted and you're on the move and your face might be thrown out on the digital media as being some threat to America, and then there's a reward to get you, don't be fearful. All right? Don't let that be a reason to put you in doubt. And now you're thinking about, oh man, now what if I die? What's it gonna feel like? What they gonna do to me? And then you're already pondering on things that wasn't even set for you anyway. We have to take things as it comes, but not be so hard on ourselves to imagine things that aren't even set up for us. That's not even our story. But understanding that it's a possibility. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. So the Lord cares for who? Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 5 and 15. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward is also with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. So the righteous, or the elect, their care is with the Lord. The elect are going to be taken care of. So at the end of the day, there's really nothing to worry about. And the worry that does come is just the flesh. That's a part of our battle. It's fighting against our own flesh. This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So we're going to be fine, man, because our care is with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Our strength is not in our own might, but in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 22. Speak thus saith the Lord Yahweh, even the carcasses of men shall fall as dung upon the open field, and as the handful after the harvestmen, and none shall gather them. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, and I am the Lord Yahweh, would exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. So we shouldn't boast in our own knowledge, our own strength, but we should boast rather that we know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, And that's how we put our care in the Lord. That's how we put our confidence and our trust in the Lord, is knowing it's not about our own physical anything, but it's about the Lord giving the ability, the Lord being our protection, the Lord showing us the way, giving us the map. All right? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 9. Verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the power, not of works, lest any man should boast. So we're not going to be saved off of our works. But you know what's going to happen? You're going to show your faith by your works. You'll have men use this excuse of saying, well, since we're not really saved by our works, that doesn't give me an excuse to be on fire, because it doesn't matter about the works. Men will find all the excuses to, slander a man because he's on fire. Well, it's not about works, brother. Trying to discredit him. Although what we're doing is a light thing in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord is going to reward us graciously. Okay? That's why when we come out here, we have to understand that this is definitely a job, and there is payment that is coming. Okay? A huge payment. Not of works, lest any man should boast. So we can't boast in our works. We can't boast in the knowledge that we have or how many years we've been in this truth. If we're going to boast in the fact that we know Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and he's our power. First Corinthians. First Corinthians chapter 1 and 21. For after that, in the wisdom of the power, the world by wisdom knew not the power. It pleased the power by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So it's through the foolishness of preaching that we come out here, serve the Lord openly. It's a foolish act. It's silly, and the Lord knows that it's silly, but it's through the foolishness of preaching that we're trying to reach others who may believe. Not through our boast and our wisdom, but through the foolishness of preaching. Because the fact that we come out here and do this openly, little do people know, this is a sign of humility. This is a sign of us humbling ourselves before the Lord to be able to suffer the shame of non-believers. Okay? For after that, the wisdom of the power, the world by wisdom knew not the power, but it pleased the power by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So this is silly. It's a silly thing to come out here and talk to a whole bunch of people that never listen to you. But that's what the Lord wants, to keep coming out here. All right? And hitting people with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, whether they can accept it or not, because this pleases the Lord until the day comes that he just removes us off the street. And this labor will officially be a thing of the past forever. Jeremiah chapter 9 and 24. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord Yahweh, which exerciseth loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. So we have to boast in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Not in our own strength. Especially seeing some of us have to taste death. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 15. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, And there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. So some of the righteous may be killed, chastised and killed. Some of the righteous may have to suffer being beaten, being humiliated, and not just humiliated, even killed. Okay? So even knowing that, why should we boast? Why should we say it's because of our own greatness or our own wisdom or how deep our voice is or how many women we popped or how popular we used to be in the world or whatever it may be? We have to understand everything that we're capable of doing is only because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai allows it. And we have to hope and pray that he keeps on allowing us to fight, and not only fight, but even endure until the end so that we may receive that crown. Let's get that right quick. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So even if we have to be chastised to the point of even being killed, so be that we endure and hold on. There is a crown awaiting us on the other side. And it's better to die for the right thing than for the wrong thing. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 17. For it is better, if the will of the power be so, that ye suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. So if we have to face death, just have it in your mind it's for the right thing. And have it in your mind that the Lord is with you. And have it in your mind that it's not the end. Have it in your mind that what you were doing was not in vain. Because it's going to come a time in the near future where there will be a great insurrection upon those who fear the Lord. Starting with those of you who believe, down to the rest of you Negro, Latino, and Native American. Even those of you who say, I'm not an Israelite. I never subscribe to that. I never prescribe to that. I never admitted to being that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's not going to stop Esau from coming down upon you as well, because they know who you are. And ultimately the Lord is against you. And if the Lord is against you and Esau is against you, now you're just going to be sandwiched inside of a great judgment. John chapter 16 and verse 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogue. So our people cast us out from among them. They treat us like we're not of them. Our people will give us awkward stares, and we're out here fighting for our people, but it be your own people that actually cast you out as evil. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think he doeth the power service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, which it's soon to come now, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. And now we're at the end. And now we're coming into that season where he mentioned some of the things we may have to befall in the future. That's why you have to be a man and gird up your loins in this ministry. All you Israelites who are playing games, you're straddling the fence. What are you going to do when the Lord's not with you and Esau's hunting you? You might say, well, you got a whole bunch of weapons and arms. You can only take down so many before you yourself gets brought down. You have a blind spot. You can't see what's behind you. You got to reload, right? That ain't going to work. But now I go my way to him that sent me. And none of you asketh me, whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, you sorrow, Because I've said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. And I'm sure some of you men, you hear some of these scriptures come out and sorrow fills your heart. You get to pondering on, well, what if that's me? What if I have to go through that? What's it going to feel like? What if I can't endure it? Right? What if it's worse than I can bear? All these questions may come upon you because your flesh is wrestling against your spirit. Okay? But you have to understand that if you're the Lord's elect, you're going to fall into a trance and you are going to accept the fate that the Lord has for you, because the Lord is going to be fighting through you, not ourselves. Okay? So don't feel sorrowful because of what I'm reading. Matthew 26 and 37. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, being James and John, and begun to be sorrowful and very heavy. So even Yahushua felt sorrow before he was about to be crucified, because it's a natural thing to do. You hear of certain things, and then that sorrow just hits you because you ponder on it. And that's the flesh. But seeing that the flesh is weak and the spirit is willing, these are the things we have to pray for. Pray for strength. Pray that we can set aside weak thoughts. Okay? John chapter 15 and verse 20. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. So even if Yahushua felt sorrow before he was about to be crucified, we're going to feel it too. But as we feel it, just keep pondering that the Lord is with us, man. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they had kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. And the servant not being greater than his master, we are the Lord's servants. And the Lord being our master, before he went through his hour of trial and tribulation, he felt sorrow. So who are we to think we're not going to feel sorrow? Second Ezra chapter 14 and 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such as them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So I try to bring comfort to my people, and also letting you know the truth. Yeah, it's a hard teaching, knowing that some of us have to be grabbed up, and some of us have to be martyred. It's hard to actually accept that. That's a tough pill to swallow. But part of being in this truth is accepting the bitter and the sweet. And again, an example of that is when Peter felt sorrow in his heart when he heard how Yahushua would have to suffer by the hands of man and be betrayed. Peter, being a friend like a friend would do, he felt empathetic towards Yahushua. But Yahushua ended up calling Peter a devil, because at the end of the day, the Lord's will overrides our feelings. It overrides the sorrow that we may feel. It overrides that discomfort that we go through. The Lord's will has to be done. The Lord's will be done. And there are some of us who are standing here today that are not even going to die anyway. Second Ezra 14 and 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. And what is that weak nature? Our flesh. Matter of fact, let me get that right quick. This is the book of Matthew chapter 26 and verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So our flesh is the weak part of us. And that's the part that we constantly have to wrestle with. That's the part that always tries to hinder our faith, that always wants to do what it wants to do. And it may not necessarily be convenient unto us. 2 Ezra 14:14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature, being the flesh, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. So we have to set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto us. And some of those thoughts may be, dang, what if I gotta be a martyr? What if that's me? What if I'm not strong enough to endure it? What if I'm not worthy to endure it? You have to be in the mind frame of knowing that there's nothing that anyone can do to prevent the Lord's elect from receiving that crown. That's why we constantly stress we hope to be of the elect, because the elect are going to be hopeful. And we don't know if we're the elect, so we hope to be the elect. But the elect themselves are hopeful to be the elect. So it's like a double meaning. The hopeful elect is because we don't know and we hope to be, but also because the actual elect are going to be hopeful. All right? I just had a scripture in mind and it just fled my thoughts that quick. Okay, it came back to me. Romans chapter 8:33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of the power's elect? So who can lay anything to the Heavenly Father's elect? Because as much as these devils collude or they plot, right? They conspire against the sons and daughters of Israel. At the end of it all, if we're of the elect, there's nothing that they can do. Okay? I lost my place. Let me find it. Who shall lay anything to the charge of the power's elect? It is the power that justifies. Who is he that condemneth? It is Mashiach that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of the power, who also maketh intercession for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress, or persecution or famine, or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter, because we've been placed as sheep in the midst of wolves. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the power, which is in Hamashiach Yahushai, our Lord. So if you're of the elect, you're gonna win. You already won. That's what you have to understand. If you're of the elect, you've already overcame the world. All right? And you have to consider, this isn't your story that you wrote. This is your story that's been written for you. And you can't make yourself the elect, and you can't make yourself not the elect. Even if you worry and you find yourself getting weak, if you're of the elect, somehow, some way, you're still gonna conquer. Okay? And that's just what it is, man. So I pray that this was simple and edifying. Again, I don't bring out scriptures like this to bring sorrow to brothers and sisters' hearts, but more so because we have to bring out this truth in its entirety. And again, knowing that some of us have to be snatched up, beaten, humiliated, and even martyred, if that's a part of our story, just know that that's going to follow you for an eternity. And that's not going to be, how like people are in this world, like Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston. They've already passed away. Their legacy is sealed, but their remembrance is not going into the next world. Our story our remembrance, our legacy is going to follow us forever. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 15 and 6. He shall find joy in a crown of gladness, and shall cause him to inherit an everlasting name. This is Daniel's chapter 12. Man, where's that scripture at? Daniel's chapter 12 and verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. All right? I'll grab one more since I'm on that. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. So even if we have to die, our legacy that follows us, if we're of the elect, is going to far succeed us being in this current world, this current age. All right? So I'm going to go on ahead and wrap it up there. Lord willing, this was simple and edifying. And I'm going to give all thanks and praises unto our power, the power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. And what's his name? Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Warakakwadash. Until next time, Lord willing, stay strong, stay hopeful, and encouraged. Shalom.